Welcome everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee. It's hump day. Oh, Mike. Hang on. I always forget it's Wednesday. Hang on. Mike, 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 Mike. I always forget it's Wednesday. Okay, so if you were here Monday, we did this test sheet from a Bennett Klein, one of his thinner pages. And so I divided it up, did a non-gesso side and a gesso side, and we tested all these different art supplies, products, mediums, all on this page. And from what I can see, the one that really that just adding clear gesso to your page is the most beneficial is the watercolor. That even though it kind of floats on there, and I'm going to be using my Zig Kurataki's watercolor pens, and I got my Jane Davenport little sets sitting right here, so we're going to be using that. So just depending on what colors. And so we're going to do that. We're going to gesso. I'm going to start with this page, and we'll see how much time we have to do one or two or whatever. I do need to get something to put behind here. Hang on. Get a piece of wax paper, because if I'm going to gesso all the way to the end, I don't want it to be getting on the other pages. So we're going to put a piece of wax paper back there. I'm gonna click in one. We'll probably do more zooming in as we if we start shading with pencil or anything. And excuse the throat again, guys. I got hot coffee. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, so let's go ahead, and thanks everybody for being here. This is a live chat on Ustream, so if you're watching the recording on YouTube, thanks for watching the recording. So you'll hear me talking and interacting with people. Hey, Scoobs, and answering and repeating questions. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start the clear gesso. Let me get a little something to put it in, and a foam brush, because a foam brush will prevent brush lines. So though that one, maybe I'll use them. Yeah, let's see. I didn't clean this out very good. It's a little stiff. Maybe I need to just trim it off. I'm using the Finnabair clear gesso. It is clear, and it doesn't. It's just in a brown. It's in a brown jar, things, tube, whatever. And this gesso, one of the things I have never liked about gesso over the years is the grittiness. Well, Finnabair, Miss Wakely, I think there's other variations too. Probably Golden probably has some nice artist grade, non-gritty type of gesso, clear gesso. But this stuff, it's like hand lotion. It's so there's not a bit of grit in this at all. So I'm going to go ahead and gesso this, because that will make it have a resist for the watercolor to kind of float on top. It'll just prevent it from soaking right into the paper. Let's put it that way. Not that that matters. I've used watercolor, Neo colors, my watercolor brush pens, and all of them without ever gessoing. But we did the test on Monday here. We did the test on Monday, so I'm going to go ahead and do a full-on test. Okay? So I'm just going to take it here, and I just want to get a cup. I have to get some more out, but I want it to dry up here under the fan. And just put a coat. And I'm only going to put one coat. Let's get down here in the crevice if I can. And you can see if you look sideways where it's, you know, shiny. So I think this will probably be an, uh-oh, there's some blue paint was in the, that's my magicals. There was a little bit of magicals sitting there. I probably need to throw that tray away because those are not dissolved and they're sitting there. We don't want any undissolved magicals. Okay, let me kind of tilt my head and see. I think I got it completely covered. All right, I am going to throw this away because there's some magicals undissolved there, and I'll be the first one to pick that up and put it on another project. All right, so let me get my heat gun and dry this. If y'all have any questions, put them in caps. Hey, Veronica. Shalene. I want to make sure it's really dry. Go on the back here too. Give it an extra little bit of dry. I mean, it feels dry, but I'm just going to make sure. Okay, so now we're going to start watercoloring. Let me see. Let me grab some brushes over here. Do y'all have any questions? Just ask. Let's see. Get a soft brush. I don't use any particular kinds of brushes. I just usually just craft brushes. I have 5 jars sitting next to me, and I try to kind of keep the different different sizes. Like this size, these are the smaller ones, except for this one right here. And then I have just different sizes and different ones. So I keep about 5 jars of these sitting next to me. So in no particular order, do I want that big one? I'll probably need a couple of little ones. There's a nice little flat. I love angle brushes. Angle brushes are my favorite. But I go through those too. Let's see, I think I need a littler one. Let me get my jar over here. This jar right here has some littler ones like this one. Those 2 will probably be enough. Maybe those 2. Let's go with those 2. They're a little newer. Okay. All right. So hopefully it looks like we're good here on zooming in. All right. So do I want to start with, I think I'm just going to go ahead and put a wash on her hair here. I do need my, I got to go get some water. Hang on, guys. I have my square brush cleaning thingy over there, but I like nice clean water too. So let me get a little tray to put the clean water in. I know I got some new trays here somewhere. I'll do it. I've got stacks of coffee lids are what I use for palettes. So I just want some clean water. So I have clean water here. And then I'm going to go ahead and moisten, you know, spray my little Jane Davenport sets here. And I also have my large Kuretake watercolor set. But I'm just going to stick with these. All right. So, and I got a water brush here. Let's see. Oh, this one's got some water in it. Oh, it's out of water. Hang on. Okay, so this way I can use a water brush or just a regular brush, whichever. So I'm prepared for either. So like for a larger area, I'm probably going to do this. Now, I'm thinking whether I want to try a wet on wet technique with her hair and just see what happens if it feathers and bleeds and blends. So let's try that. So I just got some clear water here. And I'm just going to, and I'm not sure how long it'll stay wet on the gesso. You know what I mean, Vern? If the water is going to float extra long. Let's just do this section at a time here because I'm not sure how long it'll stay wet. And I think I'm going to make her, let's make her have pink hair or magenta hair. Let's have some magenta hair. So, and that the color that I'm using is Fairy Tale. It's this bright magenta color here. I just want to kind of see if it kind of floats wet into wet. More water. You know, that watercolory look. Because it's probably going to act a little different than I'm used to being on gesso. Because I don't gesso anything. Y'all know I don't gesso anything. Okay, so we'll get a coat on here. And then we can always add more. Now, I remember yesterday on the test, we did find out that the colors are lighter. And they'll move. Like if I go right, you know, if I try to, and I think when I go to add another layer, it might try to lift this up. That's what happened here. But we'll see. All right, so let me just squeeze out some more water here to use with my magenta. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just wet with, and there's still pink and there's still magenta in my brush. So I just want to get, you know, I'm going to just try to wet sections at a time because it might dry. I don't know. So I just want to get areas wet and then, because see, it's not sinking in. Sorry, guys. It's not sinking into the paper with the gesso, so. But we had the best effect of any of the products tested. It was with the gesso and the watercolor. Hey, Jean. So, and Jean, I watched your other part. Okay, now I didn't wet this down. Let's just go ahead and put it on here dry brush. Well, I mean, not wetting the background. And I see, I can see it beading up. Kind of see it beading up a little bit. I watched your other part, Jean, with your lollipops. I watched Jean. I fall asleep to Jean most times. And she usually naps here, so yeah, it's all good. All right, Jean. Okay. Yeah, I guess I better do her bangs too, huh? And I'm just getting water and more paint. And I can see it beading up a little bit. I want some little flary hairs there. And we'll see how this goes. And oh, and by the way, I don't know if I showed you that we're working in Pop Manga. We're working in this color book here by Camilla de Areco. So we'll get a base coat of everything on here, and then we'll go back and do details. Whether with some with watercolor and some with. Sorry, let me see if I can rearrange it so I don't have to keep reaching over you guys. Let's put this on this side. There we go. And then her octopus that's around there. They all seem to have, you know, some kind of fish motif here. Or robots or underwater, which I love, you'll know. Anything that's odd together. See how it's puddling up there? It's resisting right there. And I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let that dry like that. Let's see, her hair's back in here. See how it's all puddling up? And down here. So I'm kind of like rolling with that. Rolling in the puddles. You fell asleep watching me, and I entered your dreams yelling at you that the only way I would learn to paint was if I body painted me. Scoops, that's hilarious. All right, so this is really puddling a lot. I mean, I don't want it to sit on the, I don't think it's going to go through with the gesso, but I don't like letting all that water just sit. It kind of scares me. You know, having water just sit there on the page. You know, I'm usually careful about my water when I'm in a color book, always thinking it's going to go through. So for me, just to let that sit there is like really, yeah, that's not, it's not. Okay, so I think that's her hair back in here. I think I got everywhere that there's hair. Oh, a little bit right there at the top. And maybe a little bit in between those tentacles. All right. Yeah, it's just kind of odd to let it sit there, but okay. Oh, wait, there's some more over here. All right, now I want to do the, I want to get the octopus legs. Good for water effect, but hair puddles. Yeah, hair puddles. Well, we're gonna play with it. We'll see. She's underwater, so maybe her hair is puddling. Her hair's puddling. Let's dry. And her hair will be hydrated, right, Princeman? Good morning, by the way. Okay, I'm going to have to sop up some of that with a tissue because it's going to take forever to dry. Just a little bit because it's going to little puddles there, literally. And I don't want it to, I don't think it'll go through with the gesso, but, you know, yeah, that's a dangerous habit to get into. Oh, you read an article on body painting in New York? Yeah. There was a show. I don't even remember what channel it was on. It was like a body painting contest, kind of like the sci-fi one of Face Off, where they make creatures. Uh, you know, sci-fi creatures. Makeup. But the body painting one, it's not on anymore, I don't think. But it was on for a couple seasons, but I don't even remember what channel it was on. I don't remember if it was on Sci-Fi. Let's go ahead and dry the back a little too. Let's make sure. Now remember though, this is watercolor. So if I touch the, if I do an area right there, let me clean my brush. If I do an area close to it and touch it, this will reactivate. It's just watercolor. All right, so I think, let's look at the blues here. Do I want butterfly blue? Do I want eyeshadow? I think it's called 60s eyeshadow. Kind of like the butterfly blue. Let's just, I'm going to squirt some water, but not like right over the page. So let's go with butterfly blue. And again, it's resisting the water. This will be a nice bright page, huh? And see, I can still see all the little tentacles, the little suckers on the tentacles there. So that's part of her shirt there. I'll probably do that a nice pretty green. We'll keep it nice and bright here. And see, Jean's trying to do her watercoloring, which she's doing some really awesome watercoloring. She's trying to do everything. I mean, I don't know that she has a rule about not adding any other mediums, but she is real good about sticking with just watercolor. I'm not so good at that. I'll use whatever works. So let's see, there it goes down there. Just trying to find all the, goes in here, down there. I am kind of letting it pool, even though I probably have to dab those off. Will you be doing gesso on your pen? No. I might do, if I do a watercolor one like this, I might. We'll see how this, if it makes a difference to me. But will I be gessoing all my pages? Absolutely not. I just don't find that it's necessary. I mean, it will probably help, like in this case, in the watercolor, it will prevent it from going through. Which that's a good thing on a double-sided page, right? You don't want it to go through, and you got to be conscious of the water saturation. So in that sense, I can see a point to doing gesso. But really, I think it was Skin Wars. I think that's what it was called, Melody. I just don't know that it's, for me anyway, I don't know that it's necessary to gesso, except like maybe for a watercolor where you don't want it to go through. But I'm usually really careful about my water, so. But everybody always asks me about it all the time. Do you use gesso? So I thought, well, I'll just use some. So there, we did that test on Monday. We used everything we could think of, all different kinds of things. Now, I did like the effect that it had with the alcohol markers, but according to the Copic girls, you don't want to use your Copics on gesso. So, can't do that. So, what you gonna do? All right, so now we got some trees over here. And I'm going to color the tree. There's a little bit of bark, not too much, but the leaves and the trees, I'm going to color the same color as her shirt. Now I got to decide, do I want her to have blue eyes? I think I want her to have blue eyes, kind of like the octopus. So let's just go ahead and put a coat of blue on here for now. We'll shade in a minute. And I think she has one tear. I think she'll have one green tear, like the leaves. Maybe she's crying because there's no more, and I'm going to use this green right here. This is Jiminy, like Jiminy Cricket, right there. Maybe she's crying because everything's underwater now. She's underwater. There's no more trees. The octopus took over. Again, I'm kind of being a little conscious of not letting them, the colors touch too much, because I know they'll run into each other. Uh-oh, there comes the sun. I got to put up my board. The sun just flashed everything out, so let's just block it out. Alrighty. Alright, there we go. And then all the little leaves here. And then there's just one branch going along the side. Oh, I missed something. Somebody said something on the markers. I don't know who said it. It just left. It just left chat. Sorry. Somebody said something about markers in caps and I missed it. Okay, so there's some leaves all up in here. There's just one little branch. Well, actually, there's two little branches there. Down in the ditch. That's one of the things about using a brush, so you can get down there in the, inside the crack in the book. Interesting question. How do you produce tears underwater? Oh, good question. That's why she's crying, a green tear. All right, right up in here. All right, is that all the green? I think that's part of her hair up there, actually. Let's put a little bit of that magenta back right up here on the top. Okay, so let's do that branch. I'll do it sienna. Squirt a little water in my palette. So we'll have our base coat on here, and then right here. A little bit right at the very top. That could be her hair. We'll need a little bit more green right there. Right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and dry this. I probably shouldn't have put that green tear on until I did her face, but funny Jean. Let's see, let's go over here. Let's mix let's maybe mix sand and buff. Okay, I gotta clean me off a space right here. Let's, gotta wet my palette again. There's a little water right there. Okay, let's maybe mix some sand and some buff here. Get a nice, it's gonna need a little bit darker too. Put a little of the spice in there. And it might need a little bit of mango. Try to mix a nice kind of general skin color. It's so yellow though. Let's make her kind of maybe a mid-tone color girl. All right, add some water to that and wet it down. Okay, let's see. Let's just, that's a little dark. Need a little bit more water. Let's water that down just a little bit more. There we go. Let's just get a nice. Again, the only thing about doing her face now is because the gesso's on there, it's going to want to pool, you know? So I'm going to have to get a nice, let me use my water brush. I'm going to have to get a nice flowy face going here because the paper wants to resist. I don't want her face looking mottled, you know? So maybe if I get this first layer down that I can go in and shade better. But I don't want her face looking watercolor-esque. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be pooled. Which it might be a kind of a cool effect if she's underwater. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take my Kleenex here, clean my brush, and just kind of if I can get rid of some of the color. I don't know if I can. I was thinking it would really wipe away pretty easy because of the gesso, you know? Like that. So I can keep my highlights. Something like that. So I can wipe away the paint to keep my highlights. All right, let's see what we can do now. see how we can play. Let's see if we can remove some of the paint on the suckers. I need some more tissues. Maybe I wonder if I could just do it with a baby wipe. Let's try that. Because the resist is on here, you know, okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and move this wax paper now. If I start going toward the edges again, I'll put it back. May just be a misplay. Okay, so I'm going to, let's just see what I can do with the baby wipe here. Now, you probably can't do it too much. I just want to see if I can, like, remove some of the watercolor. And I don't want to peel, I don't want to hurt the paper. And if I do this too much, I might be, you know, hurting the paper. So I'm just kind of seeing if I can get some highlights on some of the suckers. I'm just playing here, guys, seeing what I can do with the gesso underpainting. Say something like this. I don't need to do every one, but like maybe the top ones here. See, I can feel I pulled. I'm gonna have to be careful because I will go through even the gesso with this rough treatment. You know, I can feel I can almost start to peel the paper. And so you gotta be careful even with the gesso. You'll go through the gesso too if you rub too much. Got a little. Hang on, guys, let's fix this. All right, do a couple down here. I'm just trying to see what we can do with it. Might as well experiment, right? But again, I can feel the paper almost wanting to peel, like right there. Almost did that one. So you really kind of have to do this only so much. So tell me what everybody's working on. It's clear gesso, Suzanne. It's this brand here. It's the Finnabair, which there's no grit to this. It's Finnabair. I got it at Michael's. It's normally like $9.99. I have a coupon, so you know you get it for like $5, $6 for a, yeah, with a coupon. Okay. Just a few of them, a few highlighted ones. But I'm using the baby wipe because it's wet already, right? I don't have to keep dipping something in the water. Okay, I like how it kind of pooled in her eyes. That's kind of a cool effect. Right now you're working on a cup of coffee and watching me then on my watercolor. Okay, Jean. All right, let me go ahead and dry this now. And yeah, then I'll probably work in her eyes. Well, I gotta work on her face. Okay, so see, I wiped off some of the paint on her face to give it the highlights. So, and I still want to, you know, kind of want to use these. I just went with my Jane Davenports, but you know, let's see. Do I want to try it? Let's do a test with the skin colors. Let's just play. Let's see here. This one is trying to find the name of the color. Flesh color. And then this looks like the next shade. This one's a pinker color. I wonder if... Don't want to get her too pink. Well, maybe a little pink because her hair. We'll go with these three. And I'm going to do a test on a sheet. Let's do a test on here. Because that's already got gesso on it. Alright, so let's see. I just want to look at the colors. Because I'm not used to using them, especially on... Nope, that's gold. That's gold. I don't want gold. And this may not be enough colors, but we'll see. That's a peach. And that's way too bright. Well, let's put a little on her cheeks, maybe. Let's put a little on her cheeks. Maybe her lips. A little on the thing of her nose there. All right, let's go ahead and just use this as a little bit of a shade color. All right, let's see how this will blend here. Because the Kuritakis will blend. I do need one shade darker though. Sorry, got hung up there. Let's see. That's too gold. I don't think that's... I don't have a shade in between. I guess I'll just have to go with these and blend. Pink and peach. I mean, they're blending awesome. The Kuretake Real Brush watercolor. But I can also see, if I'm not careful, it's going to pill. Alright, so let's do a little shade right under her chin there. Let's do a little under her eyes. I'm just using the pink. I'm using the pink to shade. And then blend with this. Because I don't have in my Kuritakis a lot of skin tone, light skin tones anyway. Yeah. So we'll just do it like this. That's probably supposed to be the white of her eye over there. Trying to kind of blend some of the watercolor that's already there. See how that goes. It's a start. All right, let me work into her eyes now. I'm just not liking these colors on her skin, but I should blend my, I should mix my own. Okay, so I always add now, and if I use a pit marker, a pit pen or my Sharpie pen, I know these don't go through and they're waterproof. So this is a medium, so this is bigger, so I'll just use this one. So I want to do her pupil darker. I might leave a little extra highlight there, but I want her pupils darker. And her eyelashes. And I guess I'll go ahead and do some eyelashes. And I want to do her eyebrows more magenta. So I'm going to flick out some extra long eyelashes there. We'll go back into her face again because I want to get some white around her eyes too. Alright, so let's get her pupils nice and because the way that Camilla drew them, her pupils are kind of scratchy. All right, so now let me go ahead and get my white Sharpie, or let's get the Posca, either one. I'll use either a Sharpie, the water-based paint, or the Posca acrylic paint. And I want to do the white on the eyes because I kind of covered that up and I didn't really think about it when I was doing it. Oops, this one might be a leaker. So I kind of just feathered that out. I just want it to kind of not have a just definition between where the light of the eye and the skin color is. Kind of like they kind of blend together because she's a big-eyed manga girl. So I might have to get out some more. Oh, well, that might be the first coat. I might just have to put another coat. Let's let that dry. Okay, now what I want to do is I want another highlight on her eye here. I'm going to make my own. Manga girls, well, and guys, they usually have like 5 highlights. Alright, so I'm going to start with that. And now I want to get in there and shade the blue. So let me get my color back again. The dark blue color. Or the mermaid, what is it called again? Was it mermaid? The blue. And I'm going to start putting another layer. Shadow right across there. And it'll probably take extra coats with watercolor, especially on the gesso, because it's going to want to lift. You know? It wants to lift. It's a little tricky here with lifting it up. I mean, that can be good if you want it to lift, like when I blotted out her face, but I don't want it to lift. Whoops, hang on guys, I touched her highlight there. I'll have to white it out. Now I want to blot this out right here. Let's see if I can get it to pick up. It's kind of like it does stain it, and probably because I've heat dried it too, about 2-3 times. I don't think I'm going to be able to lift it up as much as I thought I could. You know what I mean? So we'll have to go with some color pencil. Is your Posca pen an ultra fine? It's in Japanese. I think it's just the fine. I think it's a 0.7. All right, so let's dry this. I'll do more detail with pencil, I think. Oh, except one thing I do want is more magenta eyebrows. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put some little magenta eyebrows in here. Again, I think I could just do more with the pencil. I'm a pencil girl, but I want to experiment for those of y'all that like other things. All right, now let's go ahead and start on let's start with the hair. Okay, let's just see what we can do. I want to squeeze out some paint here. I'm just using the same magenta, but we're going to put another layer. All right, so there's going to be shadows over here. So let's put some deep color here. Have something handy to keep my brush. I'm really watching to see how much lifts. want to try to keep some of the watercolor look, though. I don't want to get rid of all of it, you know. And still keeping the saturation in mind. Even though it's got gesso, it'll still pill if you overdo. So I kind of like to have that a little whiter in there. I'll have to probably go in here with some pencil or something. We'll see. So I'm going to want my highlights back. But I'm liking these colors. Are y'all liking the colors? Pop Manga colors. Get right in the ditch there. They're bright and cheerful, aren't they? I did watch, there was a show on, and I guess it's been on since like 2016, and somehow I just missed it. It's on the Vice channel, and it's called Abandoned. And you know, we do our Abandoned Places altered book here, so and these two guys travel around. Well, the one I saw, there was two of them, the main guy and his friend. So I don't know if his friend goes on all of the adventures. I don't think he does. I think he just goes occasionally, or maybe he just went on this one. But he and his friend went traveled Route 66 from Chicago. Well, they started in California and went to Chicago, and traveled all of Route 66 and stopped at all the places where that were abandoned along the road. You know, when road trips in the 50s and everything were real, popular, and all the old motels and everything. And they're skateboarders. They're both skateboarders. So what they would do is they would try to find skaters along the routes that would know about all these abandoned places. They'd have like abandoned swimming pools and abandoned water parks and abandoned, places that had, big cement to skate on. And so they would find other skaters along the route that would join them and just meet up with them. And then they'd go skate at these abandoned places along, it was really, really good. You have an itch for Amazon. Can you enable me? Where's Eileen? Eileen's our enabler. Do you have this book here, Prisma? and all the places that they traveled, and all the places that they found to skate in. And he does his show. I don't know how long it's been on because I just found it, right? And so he'll go to abandoned malls, not on Route 66 episode, but on other episodes. He's gone to abandoned malls, and he's gone to, I don't know, other different places. Like I said, I just found it. And So it was just so cool that he and his friend would try. They drove, of course, they drove through all down Route 66 and all the interesting. All right, see, look, that's bleeding right there. See the blue bleeding into the red, which that's normal for watercolor. You're going to expect that, but just be aware of it. You know, be aware that it's going to bleed if you touch. So anyway, I'm going to try to really find that show. I don't know if it comes on every week. There were 2 episodes. One he did an abandoned mall, and the other one he did the Route 66. Hey, Claudia. All right, let me dry this, guys. But I really was like all into that. It was on yesterday. I don't know what time. It was like a odd to random time. I don't even know how I found it. I was looking for something and I came across it. And it's called Abandoned, and it's on the Vice network. They have a lot of tattoo things, and I don't know. They have just odd random things. But anyway. There's a little puddle right there. No, I'm not going to get a skateboard. I did get some rollerblades. When I turned 50, I got rollerblades for my birthday. I I hung on to a hubster's shoulder while he dragged me around. Because I used to skate, guys. I used to skate like roller skates, way before rollerblades, right? And I used to skate. I've told y'all some of the stories about me skating. I could skate really, really well. However, rollerblades take a lot of strength in your ankles, and my ankles just didn't. They were too wobbly. I guess I could have probably, if I would have stayed with it, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I got some purple rollerblades for my 50th birthday. I ended up giving them to Cam, and he wore those things out. He wore those rollerblades out. Um, and then got more. And yeah, I mean, he rollerbladed a lot. He'd go to the parks and rollerblade in the on the cement parks and all that. Yeah. But no, not skateboarding. I didn't ever skateboard. All right, so let's see. Now I want to go back to the blue. I'm going to go back to the dark blue and start shading under all the little suckers. Hey, Lori. So, I'm just using my little palette here. And now I want to start doing some shading under the little suckers here. And you can, normally, guys, I'd be doing all this with pencil, right? But I wanted to play with the watercolors for you guys today because we did the gesso. And if you're just joining us, we used the Finnabair. It's either Finnabair, Finnabar. It's Bair. So Finnabair's clear gesso. Got it at Michael's, and it's just like hand lotion. There's no grit to it at all. And so we did that test on Monday with all the different products with the gesso. So I said, well, let me just try a full-on watercolor page, which at the end I'm probably still going to go in here with pencil. But we're going to get as much watercoloring done as we can. Did you watch the... I don't know what that is, Raga. Is it a typo? Musical Tatty used to roller skate every week, took a 6-year break, and all your muscles forgot what the hell to do. I know, right? I don't know that my muscles forgot what to do, because I'd never really roller bladed. I'd roller skated. And it's different. It is different. I'm talking about I got the rollerblades when I was 50. I'm talking about when I was at, 12, 13, 14 is when I roller skated. That was a thing back then, you know, roller rinks were a big thing. So Raga, can you ask that again? Because I'm not sure what you were asking. Did I see something? But I didn't get what that was. There's another little one here that's got some. Do a little like this. But anyway, if you ever get a chance, you can see like 30-second clips because I did go on YouTube to see if they were on YouTube, and all I could find was the Vice Network's channel, Vice Channel's YouTube channel. They only had like 30-second clips, so they're not on YouTube. There's other things about abandoned places on YouTube, but the show Abandoned from the Vice Network is not on YouTube that I saw. England subs. England subs on England subs? No, England subs. I don't know what that is, Raga. I got them for my 50th birthday also, and they laughed at me for using ski poles. I just used hubs. No, I don't think I'd use ski poles. Oh my gosh, girl, that was a sight. Ski poles. That's actually might be a good idea. I don't know. Did it work? Did it work, Connie? Oh my gosh. Yes, and I mean when I was a little kid, the metal skates that you clamped over your shoes. Yeah. But I'm not that old. My mom had those kind of skates, and I probably did when I was like 3. The kind that just like they're metal and they go over the top, they wrap kind of around your shoe. But no, by the time I was 12, 13, 14, we had roller rinks and regular skate. I mean, they were still around then too. They've been around, roller skates have been around like a long time. But like kid skates, little kid skates, back, when they had those metal ones, yeah. English subs make you hungry. So it is wanting to try to pick up, but I think because I've dried it so many times, it's not picking up as much as it did Monday, when we were doing the test. I mean, I've dried this now 4 or 5 times, I guess, maybe more. So it's not like it's not lifting the paint as much. Not that old. Smack your face. Janet. Janet, I think we're the same age. I think we're the same age, Janet, so. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so I ended up just, I played with them for a few days and I said, well, I asked Cam if he wanted them. If he didn't want them, because they were purple, so he didn't care. He took them. He wanted them. And at the time, he was probably, let's see, I don't know, 10, 8, 10. He had big enough feet. I mean, my feet aren't that big, but he was, he had, his feet fit in him okay. I didn't see it, Raga. Sorry. Okay, so I'm just doing some shading under each one of the little suckers here. I'm sure there's a better name for them. The little, suction cups on the tentacles. So see here, this is what it looked like, and then here where I added some more layers. The poles work, but still was a killer on your ankles. Yeah. That was a thing for me. It was my ankles. I guess you just don't exercise your ankles like you should. I don't know. It probably has to take, you have to build it up, I'm sure. like anything else, But I wasn't going to take the time to train in rollerblades. I didn't have the time for that. But that's pretty, that might have worked. I bet you did look like a sight going down the street, though. Uh, So yeah, there we go. Get these little, I'm just kind of taking my time here, guys, and just kind of messing with it. Just kind of in my head, I'm kind of trying to think how this is reacting. I'm trying to tell you some of the things, but it's kind of, you have to kind of you get the feel when you're doing it, right? Like right there it lifted a little, and here it beat it up a little. Those kind of things are kind of hard to see on camera. Yes, yes, my loose wheel. Yeah. I've told that story a whole bunch of times. I'll tell it again on myself if y'all didn't hear it. When I was skating, because remember, me and my friends, we could skate. I'm telling you, I mean, we thought we were hot stuff, because we could skate really, really well. And so we were doing some tricks, and they always had contests too, and we'd go on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and they'd have all these contests, and who could do, I mean, they even had the limbo, and you'd go skate under the low sticks, and all these kind of skill tests, contests. And so we were doing something, I can't remember what it was, but we were going, just all cool, smooth, skating. And I don't know what we were doing, but all of a sudden a wheel goes rolling by. Somebody's wheel goes rolling by. And I went, ah, ha, 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 look, there's somebody's wheel. Ah, ha, ha. Bam! It was mine. So yeah, that was funny. It wasn't funny at the time. It was quite embarrassing, but anyway. Oh, thanks, Kenny. Yeah, just taking my time here. And I'm just dipping over here in the blues here. Of course, the skaters now, skateboarders and skaters now, and I don't know how popular it still is, but there was a lot of them on that Abandoned Places show that they met up. But they fall all the time. I mean, they fall constantly. They don't get embarrassed for falling because they're falling all the time. But yeah, we weren't exactly skateboarding. I probably landed with a bump. Yeah. uh, oh, brother Judy. Yeah. Just trying to get down here in these little bits down in here. Okay, let's see. Kind of blend that out. But anyway, yeah, it was an awesome show. And Abandoned. It's just called Abandoned. And they went to all those, around Route 66, all the old hotels and everything was gone. It was like ghost towns of practically the whole way. But I can remember like when driving with my parents going. We did road trips back then. We never flew. I mean, well, my sister and I flew overseas by ourselves once when we were like 12 and 13. But, when we went on family vacations, like we'd go from San Antonio out to California to visit relatives out there, we drove. We actually drove. I think one year there was me, my mom, and dad, and two sisters. We drove in a Mustang. I don't even know if there was air conditioning in it. I think it was a 65 Mustang. I think it was a 65 Mustang from San Antonio. Five of us in that car. Just to California. Went to the Grand Canyon, went to, the whole road trip thing. And so, I mean, I can remember those old motels and all those side road things. And I mean, I guess I still have Stuckey's pecan thing, I don't know. It's been a while. And, oh, you got the book? You got this book, Chatty? Yeah. And I've done a few pages in it, not watercoloring them, but different mediums. And so yeah, we take road trips. I mean, now I can't even imagine taking your kids in a tiny car across country. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. My sister's probably maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere around 8 to 11, something like that, maybe. I don't know. Okay, you found it on DirecTV. Okay, Terry. Yeah, I don't have DirecTV, so. Oh, but I had, yeah, yeah, I have it. I had it on cable. Yeah, it was just on my regular cable. So yeah, I didn't DVR it because I didn't know. I didn't. I would have DVR'd it if I would have known it was going to be good. I would have saved it and watched it again. It'll probably repeat. But yeah, watch it. It's really good. The Route 66 one. Yeah, you did it in a 66 Mustang days, Stacey. Oh, we had a Chevy Impala too. We had a Chevy Impala one year. Kmart. Oh my gosh. Yes. Did we all have the same cars? Okay, Prisma's got another rhyme for me. Go for it, Prisma. I'm gonna watch. Prisma, I need all of them. I need you to send them all to me. Send me all the rhymes. I need them. They're so hilarious. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna wait for Prisma's little rhyme. I got some little pink hair to do right down, magenta hair right down here on the bottom. Let me get that colored in here while I'm waiting. But so we did cross country trips and an old station wagon. Was it a Woody? Was it a Woody Button? The bed in the trunk. And we didn't wear seat belts or nothing back then. We didn't wear seat belts. I don't even know. Did they even have seat belts in them? I don't know. We didn't wear seat belts. When Hubster and I drove to Alaska in 80, from San Antonio to Alaska, 83, we didn't wear seat belts, didn't have cell phones, none of that. Okay, Prisma said, Dee Dee had such skate appeal, not one trick too many cost her a wheel. Oh, that wait, let me say it again. Dee Dee had such skate appeal that one trick too many cost her a wheel. Oh my gosh, Prisma, you crack me up. That's good. You're so good at those little little rhymes, little limericks. Your dad had a Woody, Christy? No seatbelts, just a cart and a horse. Oh, brother, Lindsay, we're not that old. On our trip to New Hampshire, my grandparents bought my brother a harmonica and he played it all the way. Oh, see, we wouldn't have been allowed to do that. My dad would have taken that harmonica and thrown it out the window. No joke, he would have. No, that wouldn't have flown. Wouldn't have flown in my our road trip. Of course, he's passed away now and mom remarried, 10, 15 years ago. I forget. It seems like they just got married like maybe 5 years ago, but really in actuality, I think it's more like 15, 18. I don't know. Anyway, mom and Ken. We did road trips in the station wagon, and we faced backwards. Yeah, I see pictures of that. We didn't have a station wagon. A Rambler. Say now, Grandma had a Rambler. Grandma and well, my step grandfather had a Rambler. Those little Ramblers. It wasn't a station wagon, Jean. It was just a little Rambler. That was a car they had. And they got a. I think then they got an Impala. I don't remember. But they used to go camp. They'd go camping a lot. They had a camper, like kind of the one that sister woman Jonna has now. They had one like that they'd pull behind them. And Grandma, I mean, I don't know if she like half teased, my grandfather or what, but she said for her going on, it wasn't a vacation. It wasn't a vacation if you pull your kitchen behind you. I'm going to work on the green. Okay, so I use the lime green, the a Jiminy Cricket green. So now I'm going to mix that with some, I think it's mermaid green, the other green here for shading. And that's too green. I'm going to mix it with some blue just to have a kind of a blue green. I don't want that grass green color. I just kind of want a blue green. So I'm going to mix the green and the blue to have some shading for here. Again, I really want to do this all in pencil, but I'm going to suck it up and do as much as I can in watercolor. Uh, Husband and I camped in a VW bus for your honeymoon. Can you say broke? Oh, I had a van too. My best car, though, was my 79 Trans Am. Smokey and the Bandit car? That was what I had. A black Trans Am. I think I've told y'all that story before. Went underneath an 18-wheeler. Yeah. Went under an 18-wheeler. Somebody ran me off the road. I've told y'all this story before. Somebody ran me off the road. It was 5 o'clock traffic, San Antonio, downtown. I was coming home from work. And a car, a pickup truck, like work truck, was coming over and over. And I was in the far right lane and kept coming over and over and over. Well, by that time I was on the shoulder. And I felt a bump. I didn't know it at the time because I came back out into the traffic. But what that bump was, bye Terry, what that bump was is my right rear tire hitting the guardrail and flew my tire off my car and not only across my 6 lanes of traffic, but the other 6 lanes of traffic going the other way, over that way. And what it did is so as soon as I tried to hit my brakes, I didn't have a brake on the right rear. So it sent me into a spin. So I'm spinning and spinning down the middle, spinning and spinning down the middle of 6 lanes of traffic. And I look up and what happened was my low car went under an 18-wheeler. Then the 18-wheeler spun me back out in traffic, spinning the other way. And so by the time everything has stopped, I look up, and there's 6 lanes of traffic had stopped and were facing me. So I'm all discombobulated, so I try to open the door, wouldn't open. So I climb out my window. And I walk, and everybody stopped. There's no traffic moving by this point in time. So I go over to the guardrail and I just to get situated. And I look over at my car and it looked like a VW. My Smokey and the Bandit car it was crushed, front, back, sides, and the top. Everywhere was crushed except right where I was sitting. There was a little hump right on top of the roof where I was sitting. I was not wearing a seatbelt, and all I did was bump my head on the steering wheel. Now, if you don't believe in angels, you go through something like that, you will believe. And so, after everything was said and done, called the insurance company and they called the tow. It was all towed and everything. And so called and said, well, is it? And of course, I knew it was total, but we had to call and ask, right? They said the only thing left in that car were the floor mats. Nothing left but the floor mats. People were running up to the car looking to who was dead in there. That's how bad the car was wrecked. So yeah, I posted pictures of the car on Instagram on a Throwback Thursday on Instagram, maybe Twitter too, but it's on Instagram of me sitting on that car before it was wrecked. And yeah, I love that car. Might have just loved it a little too much. I know, Christy. Yep, I do believe in guardian angels. I do. Exactly, Prisma. Exactly. I'm just putting some little shading under each one of these little, I'm guessing they're leaves. I'm not sure what they are. I'm just kind of shading under there. Kind of a general shading, not real detailed shading, just kind of flicking a little bit of shadow under there. I'm just trying to get shading on everything here. I know. Oh, Connie. Well, for something. I don't know about for that, but thanks. That's sweet. But anyway, yeah, that's my car wreck story. Yeah, exactly, Kenny. It is something you never forget for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to go over here on the trees. I'm getting that same kind of green and blue color mixed up. And I'm going to do some shading, and I'm just going to do some kind of like random shading in these little leaves here in the trees. Just kind of tap in some leaf-like areas here. Just kind of tapping in some leaves. All right. And let's try it. See what next step we want to do. Oh, wait, there's some up here too. Just kind of blobbing in some areas of leaves. All right, so I think that's all the shading with that. Let me dry everything well. Oh, wait, did I get that blue area here? I don't know that I shaded in here. It doesn't look very dark. Do another little bit. Thanks, Shalene. Yeah. All right, let's dry her. Hasn't taken that long, just about an hour to do this. And that includes gessoing it. That's kind of what we're doing if you're just joining us. We're kind of experimenting with watercolor on top of gesso. Clear gesso. No, Colleen. Yeah, get this. No, they never found. The guy just kept driving. And to be honest, I don't know if he even knew. He never touched me. He just kept coming over in my lane to the point that I had to go off onto the shoulder. So, and he just kept going. I don't know that he even knew he ran me off the road because he didn't hit me. I was just like, couldn't, I probably laid on the horn. So he was never around. I got charged with hitting the 18-wheeler because I spun in traffic, spin in traffic, and then I went under the 18-wheeler. So it wasn't the 18-wheeler's fault, but neither was it really mine. But I'm the one that ran under the 18-wheeler. Yeah, they could be scales. Well, I'm doing them green, so they could be scales. But here's the tree kind of right there. So they're probably scales. Yeah, they're green though. Yeah, Pacola. Okay, so now comes the decisions to decide, do I want to keep doing more shading with watercolor or do I want to go into pencil? I personally want to go into pencil. That's just, because that's my thing. So I might just go ahead and start going into pencil. No, that's what I'm saying. All I did was just bump my head on the steering wheel, and I wasn't even wearing a seatbelt. My car was totally crushed, completely, top, bottom, sides. It looked like a VW, like a bug, a Volkswagen bug, except where I was sitting. There was the only place in that car that wasn't crushed was right where I was sitting. Oh, good, Kate. Are you at school, Kate? Kate the Skate's a teacher. And yeah, and I've referenced her channel. She's doing the idea collecting notebook. I'm sure she has time being an art teacher. She's quite busy. All right, so now it's all dry. I think I want to go ahead and get pencils out, guys. I want my pencils. Give me my pencils. Yeah. All right, so let's do that. Okay, let me put the markers back. See, I did use a couple of these. This one needs to go this way. I keep in my little llama case my Zikurataki real watercolor markers and my Jane Davenport mermaid markers. I took out all the gel pens that came with it. Came with a bunch of gel pens. I took them all out, and that's what I put in there. Okay, so let me get my brush out of water here. And get some pencils here. Y'all know I got my tray here. This is my, it's a silverware tray with the pencils I use all the time. If I need more, like if I'm doing portraits, more specialized, detailed kind of, I'll get out all my portrait colors, see. So it's not like these are the only pencils that I have. It's just these are the ones I use all the time. But right here in front of me are all my bundles. Like here's all my blues. See, so I have bundles of Prismacolors right in front of me. Here's my greens. So they, just sit right here in front of me. Here's my grays, etc. Browns, reds, orange, down the line. But I use these all the time, especially my color book. I know the llama case, it's from Michael's. I don't know if they still sell it. They were selling it down at the in the planner section. But at my Michael's now they've moved the planner section and put Christmas stuff there. So I don't know if they still have them or not. And of course I used a 50% off coupon, or they're 50% off or something. A lot of us bought them. A lot of us bought them. Yeah. Yeah, they're in the planner section. Colleen got one too. Yeah, it comes full of gel pens. I said, I don't really use gel pens. Cam goes, you don't use gel pens? Not really. He goes, oh, I use them. I said, you can have them. So I gave him all the gel pens out of it and kept the case. The tray, it's just a silverware tray, guys. It's just a standard silverware tray. It's not that big. Look, it's not that big. It's just a silverware tray. You get at Walmart, Target, the dollar store. It's just your typical silverware tray. Oh, they're in the clearance section now, Kmore said. The llama cases are in the clearance section. They weren't in my clearance section. I always try to walk down the clearance aisle, but I didn't see any llama cases. Those would be snapped up. You must have got the last, they must have just put them out and you grabbed them, Kmore. 7 a.m. you're at school. Just prepping for school, no kids yet. Ah, okay, Kate. Well, thanks for hopping in. My Michaels doesn't have the cute llama, the dumb bike picture. Yeah, they have a bike one. They have, I think they have a Paris, Eiffel Tower one. I think they had 3 different ones. Chatty, I was at Michael's yesterday and I don't know where they put those cases anymore. I bought one of them too, but they did not have the llama. And they were not in your clearance section. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Let's start with her eyes. Get a couple shades of blue. A light blue. Is that the lightest one? Do I want the lightest one? Light blue, white. Do I want just dark blue or indigo? See, I have all my basic colors in here. Here's my indigo. I always put a blue piece of blue painter's tape on my indigo because it looks exactly like a black. And there's been many times where well, not recently because I started doing this, but there'd been times where I would pick up an indigo blue and color like a pupil and thinking it was black. And then I go to blend something and I have a blue. And it's like, uh-oh, I picked up the indigo. And then I do need a regular blue, and I may not have one in here. So that may not be dark. Okay, well, those should be good enough. So let's go with their eyes and the tentacles. So I got, this is just blue denim. It's kind of like probably not an ultramarine, probably like Jean, what would that blue be called? Not ultramarine. True. It's like kind of like a true blue. Indigo, white. This is, I think, baby blue or light blue, and then because it's number 1086, and then this is slate blue. That's my favorite shading blue, slate blue. So, okay, yeah, I got to take a sip of coffee here. I'm losing my voice, and of course my coffee's gonna be cold now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take white, and I'm probably have to sharpen. Here's my little sharpeners. I have a little little eraser in here, and then I have my little electric eraser here, battery operated. And then I just keep a couple, whatever handy pencil sharpeners. This is the Coom wood cutter one, and then I love these are still, I love my little silver metal ones. And so I just keep this little tray handy, little bowl handy, so I don't have to like look for a trash can to sharpen in. So the rest of these are pretty sharp, just the white. Michael says good. Karen. Oh, chat. Okay, I think I caught it. Let me do a test in my chat. Make sure I'm still rolling there. Okay, so I'm going to go into her. Let's go and start with the dark. Let's start with the indigo. So I'm going to shade under her eyelashes here. And again, guys, you could probably take your time and do all this with watercolor. I'm not a watercolor. I mean, I've done a few watercolors. I've shown y'all some of them, but it's just not my, favorite thing. You didn't study for a test? Oh. Okay, so then I think I'll just go with the blue here and blend the indigo so that the shadow blends. And then I'm going to take the slate blue and blend that down about halfway. And now I'm going to go in there with my white, and because I painted over, got some, well, here, let's zoom in a little here. There we go. How's that? I painted over, I got blue paint on the highlights that were there already. And so I'm going to go back over and, push too hard. I don't know if I'll be able to get the whites back on top of the watercolor completely. On top of the gesso. We'll see. All right, so now, well, a little bit of white, blue, but not that much. There we go. and then the white, a little bit of extra white highlight in the pupils, and then I need my black and kind of work on the little pupils a little more. And if you don't, there's 100 different ways. Well, maybe not 100. There's a couple dozen at least ways that you can shade manga eyes. So I mean, highlight them. There's all kinds of, like let me get my Posca. Like they might have an extra little highlight. They just have so many highlights in their eyes. And I know there's a method to their madness. There's a method to the way they highlight. I don't know it. I mean, I don't know the formulas and all, there's ways that they highlight different eyes. The ones that do manga drawing, real manga artist. I don't know what those are, so this one needs to come down just a little though. All right, so now I'm going to take my white pencil and just get a nice bright right here. Maybe feather it out just a little. Like that. Might need just a little bit of shadow under there. The little lightest bit. Okay. Oh, I went like that on there and smeared some of my Posca. So yeah, like that. And the artist, Camilla de Areco. Her style is a little, she does have those little sketchy kind of line things. So, like the outline around the eyes is kind of sketchy. It's not just like a solid black line. So you got to kind of work with different artists in their color books, depending on what kind of style of line they do. So I just want more white here. I put a lot of watercolor there, so I want to kind of brighten that back up a little. This could almost have a little bit of white on the side here. Get it working again. This Posca's spitting, so I got to be careful with it. So depending on the kind of line work, line weight that the artist, you're going to have to kind of like deal with their way. Hey, Julie Topaz of drawing. Have you filled in any pages with the blank eyes? There's not that many. There's a couple, right? Did I ever do one with the blank eyes? If I did, how would I be able to tell? Oh, like these two. Okay. Like these. I haven't done these two particular ones. No, but we could. We could do some eyes here. Let's finish this one first, though. It's not going to look any really much different than this, because I'm going to do them that manga look. But I don't know that I have. Let's see what else we've done in this book. We've done this one. We've done this one. And we did this one with ink tints, which I do not like the background. I don't like the way that the ink tints did this. I didn't like the way it wouldn't blend like I wanted it to for big areas. The ink tints was fine for the other areas, but I didn't like it. I just didn't like it for that. Let's see, what else do we have in here that we've done? Did the narwhal mermaid girl, and again, this is all painted black acrylic paint. The background is all acrylic paint, and I added my own water waves, and all that's paint down here too. But there's our narwhal mermaid girl. Did this one again. I painted in the background, put in my own stars, planets, shooting stars, all that. I added that myself. And that's all pencil on top of black acrylic paint. So you can get that glow like that. That right there, because it's on top of acrylic paint. I think that's all in here. So yeah. All right, so let's see here. Let me get some magenta. Let's go with processed red and whatever. That's processed red too. Oh, here we go. Probably Dahlia purple for a little bit of shadow, maybe. Yeah, probably these two. We'll go with these in white. So it's processed red, Dahlia purple, and white. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to do her eyebrows. Let's do a couple of flicks with the darker purple. So like her little eyebrows. Actually her hair and her eyebrows would probably grow the other way, but I'm doing it like the way that the artist drew her. So I'm doing her eyebrow hairs the opposite way. Why not? And I think I might put a little bit of eyeshadow on her here. Again, we could have done this part with a watercolor, but I love me my pencils. Let's put a little under, and I'm going to do her eyelashes on the bottom too. Okay, so let's go ahead and shade purple under the eyes. And let's go ahead and do her lips. Now her lips here, it's almost just like, it's just her mouth was there with one tiny little lip line. And there was just not a lot of lip line. So I'm going to kind of have to draw my own lips. And she needs a tooth in there. She has a little space. So let's put a little, let's do it with, let's put a little teeth in there. Okay, so now I'm going to just put some little lip, my own version, because there's really nothing there. And I'm doing it in the purple. Do a little underneath the lip there. Now I'll go in there with the Dahlia or the processed red. No, I'm going to go in the white because I don't want to lose my white. Let's put some white in there first. Let me sharpen. Okay, so I'm going to put my white highlight there. And I love doing a white line on top of the lip, like that. There's a light where the light is on top of your lip line. But her skin's really light right now anyway, so. Okay, now I'll go back in with the processed red and kind of do some blending. Let me sharpen. Any questions? Hippie-Cola, it's just Society. Yeah, email me if you want to be in the Society Idea Collectors. And I'll do that over this weekend. So Monday we'll probably do, no, anybody can be involved in this one because how I'm going to do the names. You don't have to be here. So anybody that I have their address, let's put it that way though. If you are in the Society Idea Collectors and you just said I want to be in it, but you've not given me your address, and again, nobody has to give me their address just to be in the Society Idea Collectors. But if you want any giveaways, I have to have your address. Hang on guys, I'm kind of concentrating here. Blending in that purple I put on there. So if I have your address, I'm going to cut up everybody's name that I have their address and put it in a bowl. You know, just their name, their little names. Because if I have your address, I'll put your name in there. And I'm going to mix it all up, and I'm going to do a few little giveaways. Right now, I'm just going to do some little giveaways like little envelopes with some, you know, maybe some, you know, cutouts, some cameo cutouts, some of my little, I've been making these on my spare time all kinds of little decorative paper clips like this. Look at this one. I found this ribbon that was all frayed, or this fabric that was all frayed. So little paper clips. So I got tons of these I've been making. Been making all kinds of little paper clips. So I'm going to put some of those in there, and some, just a little envelope of stuff. And thanks, Teddy. And so I'm going to do that in I'll probably do that on Monday's show. I'm going to get everybody's names together that I have. Look how many we have so far, guys. This is how many we have. These are index cards. So this is how many we have so far. Probably, I don't know. I'm thinking it's about 150 maybe. Yeah, so I've been making the little cute paper clips. You know, I put them also on my what do you call it? Travelers, my faux travelers from Michaels. And then I also have the one, I probably should show that again. Janet's. The one Janet made me. And I got her little paper here. This is the one Janet made me with the little, this is all hand woven paper. She painted these papers with magicals and then cut them all and then wove them together. And so I have another little traveler's here, traveler's type, you know, that size type thing. And so I want to put some paper clips on that one too. Like our old school drawing before the group grew leaps and bounds. I know, right? Yes, yes, Julie. Okay, so now let's let me go ahead with my Posca and add a few little extra white highlights. I'm like going down her lip here. I'll let that dry. Remember, you got to let your markers, paint pens dry before you try to go over them, because otherwise you're going to be just smearing it, right? All right, so now let's go back up to the eyes. I put the purple under there. Now I'm going to go in here with the processed red. And remember, I added a little bit of pink to her cheeks already. Now I'm going to start blending in more, because y'all know I love my pencils. I can't help it. I love my pencils. And they just go fine right on top of the watercolor. You filled a whole traveler's insert with ideas already. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. That's why I said, you know, you can start with the travelers, start with the composition book, but I have long, long ago moved into a 3-ring binder. I told y'all, right? I told you you're going to need a bigger book. But the thing about the composition book or the travelers, Karen, or anybody, is that it's portable. Those are the ones you want to carry around with you. You know, if you go somewhere, you're in the car, something small like that. It's portable. Your big 3-ring binders are not portable, and so yeah. I wonder if I should do that red nose thing Cameron always does. I see it in like, I think it's a thing where I don't know why they do it, but I see it, a lot of young people do those red, well, not even necessarily red, but they're dark. I don't know if I can pull that off. I need to look at one of Cameron's. They do dark noses. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I'll try it here. You know, normally I would not do this. I would do a light nose and shading, and here's her the little, divot in your nose right there, which I'm gonna have to blend that out because I got it really heavy there. But I don't know why they do that. Does anybody know? Is it just a thing, kind of like painting all your nails but one or two a different color? So let's go ahead and we'll do heavier eyes color too. We'll just do a little spearmint here. And then, of course, the little nostrils need to be. I'm just following the ones that she's got in here. They're tiny. Is it a red nose from crying? Is that why they do it, Lena? All the teenagers are crying? I mean, it could be. Hey. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of blend out her little eyebrows a little. Do some shading up into the hair. And I'm going to do shading in the hair too, but is that the thing? Is that what they're doing? She needs the tissue lotion? Yeah. I mean, I can understand why this one would be crying. She has an actual tear, right? But I'm talking about in a... All right, now I'm going to take my magenta again and just kind of barely go over some of... I want to leave that kind of light, though. I do want a shimmer on her lips. But I kind of knock it back and give her some more shadow in there. Yeah, like, I don't know, let me see if I have it on, if I can show it on my phone. I might have to change the lighting if I do. Let's see what happens here. Let me go to my photos. I might have to take off the lock, the auto light lock, to show you pictures. Let's see if I can find one of his with the... That one doesn't have, well, it's got a shadow, but it's not as... yeah, they're too little. I got other pictures on my iPad, but that's in the other room. I probably should look up why they do that. I see it a lot. She has the tiniest little nose anyway. Thanks, Kenny. I'm just playing around here. Alright, so let's go back with the magenta again, and let's kind of get a little bit more blend. Alright, now I'm going to go in some of her bangs here. Let's play with their bangs for a minute. I'm still going to blend this in too. But I want to get some of this in here. So I'm just going to use the Dahlia purple for some of the heavier shadows. I actually should do the white first, because I'll lose my brights if you start going over this watercolor with your purple, then you have to try to add your white pencil on top of pencil, and you'll know that doesn't work very well. So while this is just still watercolor, see how I can get that bright white back on top of watercolor? You can't get that on top of pencil. I mean, I guess you could really force it, and you know, but you might as well just go ahead and do it with your pencil while it's on top of watercolor. So there's her shine going across her hair. So let's pick out all the shine. There's some shine here, maybe a little bit there. This curl here. Then down in here we'll have a shine coming. Try to keep in camera because I'm so zoomed in. So, see, now I can darken this. Where I've gone on the white, I can darken it. But you can't really get those lights like this if you're going on top of pencil. So you want to get these established like right off. I mean, I hope it's something like crying or allergies and not something like anything else. You know what I mean, Vern? That they're meaning that for? I don't know. I could ask Cam. He'd probably just say, oh, it's just a trend. Something like that. So I'm just going to establish my light areas here. or my highlights, I should say. Just kind of going in there and picking them back out. Now, on watercolor, technically, if you're a purist watercolor, you leave the white of the page as your highlights. But, you know, hey, this is a color book page. I'm not going to all that business. Just gonna, I'm not gonna go to all that. I'm not gonna use masking fluids and all that. I mean, if you're doing a real watercolor, Jean can, you know, she's really working the watercolors these days, but she doesn't do color books. So let's have a little bit of highlight right there, top of her head there. All right, one over here, right in here. I really want it bright. Right in here. Sharpen again. Aw, thanks, Shalene. And let's do up here. All right, I think that'll work it for now. Really want it right here in the middle where the light's hitting right in here. And I'll darken it in there, and then right across her bangs here. It's nice and highlighted. All right, let me go back here, and I want to do a little bit more. And this is kind of like a Jasmine Beckett Griffith. She does her girls like this, with the shadow between the eyes, deep shadow between the eyes like this. So we'll roll with that. Since we're rolling with the red nose. And a little bit of shading down here on the chin. That's too much. Kind of pulled that out a little too much. I'm looking forward to coloring some more Jasmine at Halloween. I have the Halloween book. We did a little bit last year. I only did 3, I think. 3 pages out of the Halloween book last year. So we need to do some Halloween. I think, and someone here bye Kenny. I don't know who's doing it with her, but Anne, is it A Colorful Life, Anne? She's doing some kind of Halloween color thing, and I wanted to help her promote that, but I don't know enough details. I guess I should wait. But anyway, I think it's A Colorful Life, Anne is doing with, and I don't know who she's doing it with. If any of y'all know here, let me know, and I'll put it on the recording. She's doing a Halloween color along something. I don't know the details, but if you let me look at I don't have it brought up. I don't have my favorites up. I don't want to take a chance on messing up my recording. But if anybody knows, or you can just go over to Anne's channel. I'm really getting her nice and rosy, aren't I? I'm just playing with the red or the magenta. All right, so now let's see if I can get a nice blend here. Or nicer blend here. Let's see what we can do. I'm playing with a peach. My peach color. Start doing some blending. Oh, I'm going to need a lighter color too. Do I want ginger root or what's that light? I'm not even sure what that's. Cream. Maybe those two. Maybe peach and cream. I'm waiting for more info for the Jasmine Beckett Griffith color along. Hey May, is she going to do a color along for that? Or are we talking about 2 different things? Is Anne doing? I think I just saw her saying something about a general Halloween color along. Is it specific? She's hosting a color along. I know there's going to be other people, and I guess we'll just, as I hear about it, guys, I'll let y'all know. if y'all like to do color alongs. I don't really have time to do color alongs, because I'm coloring along with myself. So, but if you like to do color alongs, Shalene does color alongs. Jen she's done some. I don't know that Jen has time to do any color alongs right now either. Jen Reading with Pugs has done some color alongs, but I don't think she's doing any at the moment. There's all kinds of Facebook groups, guys. I'm just taking this is the peach color, and I'm just trying to blend. Can y'all see that? I'm trying to blend the magenta and the peach together. And taking my time here, blending this in, blend, 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 light layers, nice, soft. Anne is doing it from the Jasmine Halloween. Okay. Well, I don't know if I'll have time to be in her color along, but I planned on coloring in Jasmine's at Halloween as well. But if y'all wanted to do color alongs, then go peruse Anne, and I don't know if Jen's doing one. I don't see Jen talking right now. If Jen's going to be doing one. There's lots of people that do color alongs, though. Get the peach here, and then I'll go in with the cream color, and then probably some white. I don't know if there will be certain pages or just the book. Probably knowing Anne, she probably don't care if you do anything out of the book. You know. But I don't know enough about it yet. I have to go watch some more of her recent videos to catch up. And of course, Jen Reading with Pugs has an awesome Facebook group for coloring. I don't have any Facebook groups myself, just saying. But I try to kind of watch some of them. And I don't usually color my faces like this, guys. I'm just kind of rolling with the the manga, you know, the red nose and the kind of Jasmine shaded eyes. And this is not Jasmine, but that's kind of, she does her big eye girls with this, kind of shading in between here. All right, let's see. Let's get up a little bit up in here, blend, and then I'll put some of the cream color, and we'll move on to another part of her. Yeah, I don't have time to do a Facebook group. I know people keep asking me to have one. I don't barely have time to do what I do, guys. I don't have time to run a Facebook group. And I know people go, I'll run it for you. I couldn't do that. I couldn't put that off on somebody else. You know what I mean? So, I mean, doing this and putting it on YouTube is enough for me. All right, now I'm going to get the cream color and start kind of blending some more out here. The red-nosed trend reminds me of blossoms. Gin blossoms, alcoholic noses. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. I hope that the young people are not meaning it like that. I don't know. I hope they're not meaning it like alcohol-induced, or drug-induced or something like that. I hope they don't mean it that way. just going to continue blending. And again, if you're really into watercolor, all these steps you could have done with your watercolors. I like my pencils. It's a little flick of some. Where's my eraser? I got a little thing. Well, you know what? Let's put some freckles. Since that reminded me that let's put some purple freckles. Well, let me finish blending first because we don't want to try to color around some freckles. And I'll put some purple freckles on her. That's blended pretty good. She kind of looks like a puppy dog now. With the little nose, it looks like a little puppy dog. Oh, Shalene, what about Shalene? Shalene, host. And Jessica. A whole bunch of them are, what you're saying is a whole bunch of them are in the color along, and they're hosting it, and they're going from place to place, kind of like a, what is that called, a tag along, color along, tag along, you know, when people go from one YouTube channel to another. What's that called? Tag along? It's just just a random style with no meaning. Yeah, I think it's just a trend. I think it might just be, some kind of a trend. I don't know. I mean, that's cute. I just don't want it to mean something other than what I would hope it would mean. But, All right, so now I'm going to put some little freckles on her nose. She's kind of starting to look, you know how Snapchat has all those filters that turn you into a puppy. I gotta say, guys, those things really freak me out. I don't like them. Denise has done me and her on because I don't have Snapchat, but when I'm with Denise, she'll want to Snapchat us with dog ears and dog noses or cat. You know what I'm talking about. If y'all seen those Snapchat exaggerated faces, I don't like it. It just like, I don't know, it kind of creeps me out. Okay, so Shalene said yes. Each week a different person will be the host and color a certain page. Oh, okay. Through the month of October? Is that how it's going to work, Shalene? That would be fun. I'll help tell everybody about it when it comes, when y'all get it going there or when I know more information. Okay, I think I put too many freckles on, but we're gonna roll with that. Let's just leave her little face alone now. Except she needs a couple more little eyebrows. So let's have a couple crossover. Let's have her have like little hairy eyebrows. Something like that. So hopefully y'all can see. And see around her pupils how it's kind of scratchy like? That's the way that Camilla drew the eyes, drew the irises. They're kind of scratchy like. It's a whole month. Okay. She needs these. Yeah, here. Okay, I need a little bit darker green in that. Let me get a peacock green. I think this is peacock green. Yeah, I want a little bit of shadow more on her tear. I want her little tear to show up a little bit more. Sorry for my squeaky chair, guys. It's the same squeaky chair I've had for 7 years and never got a new one. I keep saying I'm going to get a new one, but I never do. So it just squeaks. Okay, something like that. How long we been here? We got about 30 minutes, guys. I need to go get some coffee though. Let me get some coffee, then we'll at least start on her hair, And I want to at least get enough done here and here so that you can see where it heads. Whether we finish it or not here, at least I want you to know how I'm going to work it, right? Because if I start doing her hair, you'll see that's going to be the same thing everywhere. Same thing for the little suckers. When I start shading them, it's going to be the same kind of thing all the way through it. And the little scales. I'm rolling with scales, Pacola. I'm going to roll with scales. But her little teeth, I need her little teeth to show up a little more. There we go. And her little teeth to show. So cute. That's so cute. Thanks. All right, let me go run and get some hot coffee, guys, because it's ice cold. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Yeah. Well, I had to make fresh coffee, so I just grabbed me some cranberry juice. Just have something to drink. Oh, yes, you want me to do a blank eye. I forgot about that. Okay, let's see how time rolls here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Dahlia purple and start doing some of the shading. Now, I don't want to, I might have a couple hairs cutting through my my highlight here, but I want her hair to look real shiny right across the, uh, right across the, her bangs. So I'm going to blend that out a little, but I really want to keep that real light. But let's go back up in here. So I'm just going to kind of flick from the shadow here. I'm just going to kind of flick hairs down, but I don't want to get it too much into the white. A few can flick in, but see how that's working? From the just follow the lines of the color book. Follow the lines that are there if you're not sure where to shade. And then I'll show you how to do it. Remember how to do a few like random hairs going across? Okay. So let me sharpen. I want some nice sharp ones on her bangs. Okay. Some little random hairs coming down here. Because you know, with the bangs fold over under here, it's going to be a little darker. I'll put a few really dark hairs and then I'll go blend in. I want a little bit, let's put a little purple on her lashes. So now I'll take the processed red, which is really a magenta, kind of just blend those in a little bit down here. So that sounds fun, Shalene. So who all's in it? You and who else is doing it? Or going from the four? What? There's four of y'all doing one a week. Carla's book name. More info. I don't have any idea what you're talking about, Kat. Carla's book name. Carla Moscova. You mean, oh, you mean my color book? The one, she's not is Croatian? No, that's the other, that's the guy that's Croatian. No, I don't know. Have no idea. I think you're talking about this book here. This girl, Karolina Kubakowska, Polish. She's Polish. Kubakowska. What this? I think it's the dream of. I thought I had it written down at one point. If this is the one after, I think it's after other part of the dream, or after the dream. I think is what it is. After the dream. If this is the one you're talking about, Karolina Kubakowska. Is that who you mean? Okay, so Shalene said it's Shalene and Jen reading with Pugs. Is that the Jen? And Anne Hatfield and Jessica. So there's 5 of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, Anne Hatfield. Oh, okay. I don't know Anne Hatfield. I'll have to look. Well, I'm sure one of y'all have her linked in your description. So Shalene and A Colorful Life, Jen reading with Pugs, Anne Hatfield, and Jessica. Okay, well I have no idea. I don't know that anything about that, Melody and Kat. Sorry. I don't know anything about that book. If we're not talking about that one. Sorry. Okay, so let's go back to the hair. And now I'm going to do some extra shading up here in the from the side. See, there's lines there you can follow. There might be a few in here. Crossing over the highlight. Her hair's kind of just wrapped. It's almost like a, you know, her hair's like wrapped around her head. Hey, Packer Die. You survived the first morning of school. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, something like that. Now I'm going to take the magenta and then blend that in. But I want to show you some of the hair flicking or the hair flyaway hairs. But you got to have all this done first because you can't really put like white. You know, I do it occasionally. And then I have to go back and, you know, paint around things. But it's much easier if you do all of the background before you start doing flyaway hairs. Go back to the dark purple. The one where you can, oh, that one. Oh, okay. Thanks, Melody. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay. Clara Markova. Okay, y'all are saying, I thought y'all were saying Carla. No, I don't know. This one was, you know, Carolina. Clara Markova. So she's coming out with a new book. Okay, yeah. This one is called Magical Delight. Is that the one you're talking about, Kat? Magical Delight? Or are you talking about what's the name of her new book? I have no idea. I have no idea what the name of her new book is. If that's what you were asking me. I'm going back and forth between the 2 purples here. Okay. And take your time doing this, guys. I'm kind of rushing it, you know, kind of hurrying here. You want to take your time and but it's got the base coat of the watercolor, so you're just really kind of like just working on top of the watercolor, which I love doing that with, you know, whether it's watercolor, neo colors, your what do you call it, acrylic washes, any of that. So there we go, kind of something like that. But this is what I want to show you. To have some flyaway hairs just like is really cool. So like you can just cross over, like maybe she'll have, and I probably want to carry them down, right down over here, but I can't do that yet because I'm not done coloring the octopus arms. But you can have some flyaways kind of cross over. It just kind of looks kind of cool to have flyaway hairs. And a few go a long way. You know, maybe a couple on her bangs. Like maybe she has a couple of her bangs that are kind of this. Even come down into her eyes. Like that. And you want to do that, you know, kind of space it out, and just a few, just gives it a little. And if you don't want white, remember what I showed you, if you don't want them to be white hairs, then let it dry. You got to let that dry. I don't mind it being white because she actually does have bright white in this, but if you wanted it pink, let it dry and then go back with your pink pencil and cover up the white with pink. It's real easy to do. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's do some of the octopus suckers here. So I still got to do all her hair here, but I'm not going to do it now because we're going to run out of time. So this right here is where this will go as well. This will look like this. Same for all this here, here. All this has to be done, and it'll look like that right there. Okay? All right. Let's go over here. Where's my blues? Same blues that I used in the eyes. Okay, so let me go ahead with some indigo first. And these little suckers, you know, the little individual little suction cups, they have like a little hole in them, right? So you want a little shadow inside of those. So you can go pick them all out at once. And then these are kind of turning this way, so kind of follow the direction of them. These down here are kind of facing this way. These are facing up. So the little shadow is going to be like a little C going this way. These down here are facing downward, so the shadow will be downward, like that. And then some you can only see like a little dot in the middle, because they're tiny. Something like that. Okay. Can y'all see? And then because it's a hole like that, it's going to have the shadow. You're going to also have, I'll just use the white to show so you'll see it. It's going to have on the other side, it's going to be light. So Some of them will just have a dot because they're tiny. So then now we got that. And then the same thing down here. The light might be just hitting it just a tiny bit. I mean, just maybe a dot is all it needs in some of them because they're so little. Just to give it that little oomph. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my indigo again and start shading under each sucker. Each little one's going to have a shadow under it. And again, if you're really into the watercolor, you could get a small brush and do all this with watercolor. And there might be a little areas back in here, like under her hair, that's going to have even more shadow, because her hair is putting a shadow on it. Her hair's throwing shade. Okay, so Jen made a post about it where? Jen made a post about the color along where? I didn't see where. Where did she post it? On her channel or where? So I'm just going to do a little. Janet can open links. Or just put the name of it, guys. Where is it, Kat? Just tell me where it is. And I can say it. I can't go to the link, so, you know, not right now anyway. But if you want to tell me the name of it, or where she posted it, rather, tell me. So I'm going to put more shade around the hair here. Because there'll be shadow like right where her hair is overlapping or touching the little arms. Her YouTube channel, okay, so it's Jen Reading with Pugs. Yeah, Jen Reading with Pugs. Okay. And then I know Anne is A Colorful Life. So there we go. So between those two, you can probably find, and Shalene, I think it's just Shalene too. So just color around here. Like that. See how it's giving it depth? And then you can have to find all those little dark spots too, like along the hairline here. Give it some shade. I think I hear my mailman. All right, now I'm going to take the true blue, and I'm just going to kind of, and let's go with the light blue. I don't want to lose some of my lights here, so I'll blend with the light blue. The slate blue, I'll blend with that, because if I get too dark in there, I'm going to lose all those highlights, or the light bits. Okay, so this is all the background, like underneath or behind the little individual little sucker pods. Like that. And then I'm going to take my let's take white. Where's my white? Here. I'm going to put a little bit of highlight on my little individual ones here. And then maybe a little bit of the light blue. Let's kind of blend out those little shadow C marks that we put on there to indicate the little holes. We'll kind of blend that in. Blend that in a little bit with the light blue. And then don't make them all exact. I mean, don't make them look like little soldiers lined up, because they're all going to look a little different, right? and that's part of the coolness of it. So don't try to get them all, like I said, like stamps. Don't stamp them out. All right, so here's the difference. Now, we already added some. See the little shadows there? I think there's my mailman. And so here's what it looks like with some shading. And you can continue and add more, like a little bit on the other side here, maybe. See the difference? When you go in here with the indigo and start shading. Start doing every single one. But you don't have to do them so that it's exactly, maybe put a little dark in there, a little shadow here where the hair is touching. They can have some variation. Because remember, I told y'all, these artists that make these color books are not going to email you and say you did it wrong. Okay, I can't go to them and and they're just numbers for me, Kat. I mean, I can't read those, so yeah. I can't go to them right now. I know y'all put links in for me, but I can't get them. I have them all bookmarked for myself. Yeah. So I follow all the girls except that one. You named one girl. I didn't recognize her. Anne, but not Anne. What was the other one? There was one I didn't know who it was. But I know Jen and Anne and Jessica and Shalene. There was just one of those girls. I didn't know who it was. Okay, so you see how it's getting nice dark shadows under it? Thanks, Melody. Thanks, everyone. I'm glad you're liking it. I hope you're enjoying my color along. This is my color along. Okay, so we're going to run out of time. I might have to show the blank eye another time, because I still have to do some down here. I'll keep going, guys, but let me say this. If the recording stops, if you're watching this on YouTube and all of a sudden it stops, I just ran out of time. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this segment. I'll keep going and see if I have time to do one of those blank eyes. I forgot who asked about it. Okay. And then again, take the lighter blue and just kind of, blend it in here. But I kind of like some of those lines that are, those kind of like watermark lines. Some of the watermark lines that are left from the color book. So, I mean the watercolor application we did at the beginning. So what do y'all think? Now you gotta buy this book, Jen. I know. Here's the cover. This is what it looks like. And I'll back out here in a minute. That's what the cover looks like. And there's the artist, the author. Okay, so let's see. Well, I think y'all can kind of figure out the scales. Just taking a darker green. Where's my, here, peacock green. I like peacock green and lime green together. You wouldn't think that because it's a bluey green. It's not teal, but it's kind of got a blue to it. And so you just got to kind of now go in here and shade, like under in the little triangle. The little triangle of each one. And just kind of shade under each one. Can y'all see where that's going there? And if you need to blend, use your lime green. And the lime green will make a medium green. between the two if you kind of blend them together. So just kind of going in between each scale there, if that's in fact what they are. Scales, maybe along her cheek line here. It's a little darker maybe. Bring that down though. I don't want a harsh line right along her face. Something like that. Okay. So do y'all think did I show enough to move on to do the blank eye? And I'll back out here if I have time. I'll back out and show the whole thing. Alright, so let's go over to the blank eyes because I don't think I've ever done one in here. And I don't know if there's more than just these or not. So I'll just go ahead and do this kind of quickly because we're going to run out of time. Alright, let's roll with it how I feel like doing it. Let's get some black. We'll go with blue because I got blue right here. My indigo, my light, my white, and my highlighting. Okay, let's just roll with it. Okay. Oh, y'all want me to zoom in even more? I think that's probably as good as we're going to get. Show the back page. Y'all want the ISBN number? It's not. It's. I'm too zoomed in for the ISBN. Yeah, it's not hard to find, guys. Just put in Pop Manga, and then here's her name, Camilla de Areco. You'll find it. It's easy to find. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go ahead, put in some irises. I mean some pupils. Kind of like some little C's. Leaving a big highlight because they are manga. Then they're going to have all kinds of highlights. Okay. So I'm going to do these real quick and hopefully we don't run out of time. Okay. I'm going to take my, let's take blue and I'm just going to do some shading right up on the top here. Do a little bit of shading. Again, you can go across here or whatever. I'm just going to do this quick. All right. I'm going to take the indigo blue, and I'm going to go right along the top here. Let's go ahead and drag this shadow down a little bit more too. Okay, now I'm going to go with, where's my blue? Oh, here it is. Blue, it's number 1101, denim, I think. And I'm going to go like halfway down the eye. Now I'm going to take my light slate blue and blend that down, leaving kind of a light space right here. Blend all this in here. There's really no eyelashes on him. I mean, there's a couple, but it's not really very eyelashed. So like this. Do the same thing over here. Okay, now I'm going to go in here with my white. Let's go ahead and make sure that these are the same here. Maybe put another little highlight there. And then a little extra white down here. Let that dry. You could tap it a little there on the bottom, kind of blend. I don't want it like a harsh line. Let's do a little more shading here. Because they have those big, and it just depends. You can shade their eyes different in between. Like we did the other one with the shadow in between. Kind of like that. Let's give them some blue eyebrows with some extra dark blue. A couple lashes, some blue eyebrows, hairs. There you go. Now they have eyes. Or he does anyway. Give them a little expression here. Now these eyes don't have any, you know, these manga eyes in her book don't have like eye corners. You know, they don't have little, they're more kind of square eyes. They don't really have, I mean, well, now I kind of overdid it there. They don't have the little dots, you know, they don't have corners to their eyes. Okay, let me white it out. Know what I mean, Vern? And that's too harsh. Let's kind of pat that out. You're welcome. Carried my blue into the white too much. There we go. But I wanted to do the pupils for you. Yeah, so we went from this to that. And you know, you can play with them. It depends on, you know, what kind of, you know, how much more depth you want to give them, and, you know, color and shade and whatnot. So, same for over on this side here. You know. And he would probably have blue hair. We'd have to give him blue hair. Where'd my indigo go? Here we go. All right, let me back out now because we're kind of just playing here. Thanks, guys. See how zoomed in we were? What was we gonna move back in a little? There we go. Thanks, guys. I'll go back to it just a second. Now you got me wanting to go over here. Let's have a few hairs coming down like across his eyes. All right, so let's go back over here real quick. There's what we got done on her. She's very bright. So again, the same kind of thing we're doing here in the little legs. That's going to go on over here too. The hair that we got done right here, we'll be doing up here and here. And then just shading some scales. And if you want, you can go over each scale with a little bit of white and then go back over that with green, lime green. Gotta let it dry because that'll make it nice and bright. Let's do a couple here just so you can see. So I hope y'all enjoyed Hump Day, Wednesday. So do all your, you know, like the dark shading in between, and then go back up on here like this. Okay, and you'll do all of them, like all the way down, like this. And now let me dry that. Got to make sure that paint pen is dry. Otherwise, when you go with your color, and start coloring on top of it, you're just going to smear it right off, right? So let me do about half of them here so you can see the difference between when you have the white and when you have the green on top of the white. It's just a nice, awesome way to get highlights. Did it bleed through? No, it didn't bleed through. It wouldn't have bled through it probably wouldn't have, no, it wouldn't have bled through because I would have been real careful with the water if I watercolored it. I rarely ever have anything bleed through, with or without gesso. So there's the difference. See the lime green on top of the white? So how it's still very bright highlighted, but it's not white. See? So let me go back over all of them. And a little on her tear too. Let's do a little light in there. So we went from this to that. But be neat and get in between each one. I need more, a little bit of more carefulness there. But going in and shading between each one. And then this lime green is on top of the white Posca or Sharpie, either one. Aww. Um, on YouTube, we're almost to 15,000 subscribers. Here, we have between 75 and 120 here, live, usually, when we're live. I don't know if it shows right now on this page. It's not showing how many right now on my Ustream. I'm not on the right page to see my subscriber number. So I'm not sure here on Ustream. Yeah, but we're closing in on 15,000 on YouTube. So thanks everybody that watches over there. So thanks, Janet. Okay, so I'm gonna head out, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. It's only 11:35, but I'm about out of time. I could stream all day, but you just have to do it in about 2 hours and 45 minutes thereabout. That's all the segment time you can have. Then you have to start a new recording. So we're right at, I think, close to 2:40 right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and head out, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Aw. Thanks, Janet. Janet looked up my subscriber numbers for me. You're so sweet. All right, guys. So y'all have a great day, and let me make sure I close down links if they haven't when I leave. So yeah. All right, guys. Y'all have a great Wednesday, Hump Day. Bye, guys. Thanks.